Hey friends, so today I have declared it Hat Day. So this is my awesome hat that I had to borrow from Mr. Palmer. If you notice, I have some beautiful hair coming out of it. So this is what I've done to my hair since I've been home. I hope you like it. But today's going to be a little bit different doing our videos, okay? So what I'm going to do this week is finishing out this week, we're going to go over Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday stuff so that on Friday you can go out into your yard and you can find some things that God created. Because remember, Friday was supposed to be our field trip and we were going to go to Sam Houston Jones State Park. And we were supposed to have a baggie, and you were going to go find things that God created. Now remember that we talked about the difference between things that God created and things that man created. Now remember, God gave man the mind to create these awesome things, but there's a difference in the things that God actually created. So we're going to think about things that God created. Remember when we talked about Genesis and we talked about when God created the world and everything in the world and how he just spoke and it was made, right? How cool is that? How powerful is our God? And so you get to go out and think about things that God created. Collect things on Friday that God created. So like, did God create grass? Yeah. How about flowers? How about trash? God did not create trash, right? He didn't create the paper. He created the trees that the paper is made out of, but he did not create that paper. He didn't create that plastic, right? But he created pine cones and trees and animals and people. But don't try to put those things in your baggie. Don't try to put an animal in your baggie. I don't want to see any spiders. I don't want to see any puppy dogs or kitty cats in your bag. And definitely don't try to put your little sister or big sister or little brother or big brother in a bag, okay? They're not going to fit. Don't do that. But I do want to see some awesome things that you were able to find around your house, maybe inside of your house, maybe outside of your house, that you were able to find that God created, because that was going to be our science lesson from our field trip, okay? So have fun with that. So today we're going to go over, remember, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Friday's paper. And then on Friday, I actually want you to go out and look at everything and pretend like it's our field trip. And I want you to find things that God created, okay? You don't have to stick them in a baggie though. You can if you want to, but you don't have to. And then we're gonna talk about it later. So let's go ahead and look at our papers for today. It's going to go pretty quickly so that you can have fun doing other activities with your learning, okay? So we're going to look at it really fast. Go ahead and get out your papers for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, friends, so these are the papers that you would have had in seat work. These are papers you would have had in seat work on Wednesday and papers you would have had in seat work on Thursday. This is only the handwriting part. So I'm going to quickly review it because just like we would have done in seat work, this is something that you would have done very quickly. We would have went over and then you do by yourself. So let's go ahead and look at this one right here with a cute teddy bear on it. House 1, you're practicing capital J and little j. House 2 says Jem likes to eat jam, period. You're going to trace that and write it on house 3. House 4 says he likes grape jam best, period. So you're going to trace that and write it on house 5. So he is eating grape jam and his name is Jem. So let's turn it over to the back. Oh my goodness, look at this mess. Number 1 on house 1 says Jem made a mess. So you're going to trace it, write it on house 2. House 3 says Mom will not be glad, period. You're going to trace that and write that on house 4. Okay, let's look at this one right here. On this one on house 1, you're going to do your capital Q and little q all the way across. House 2 says Mom will make a quilt, period. So here's Mom making a quilt. You're going to write that on house 3. House 4 says, the quilt is for my bed. So it's for her bed right there. So you're going to trace that and write it on house 5. Let's turn it over to the back. Uh-oh. Look at that kitty cat trying to get the fish. Look at her face. She looks like she's worried. House 1 says, can the cat get the fish? See how my voice changed because of this right here? Question mark. So they're asking us a question. So you're going to trace that and write it on house 2. House 3 says, Anne will grab the cat. Look right here. Exclamation mark. So my voice got a little bit more excited there because look at her face. She looks like she's going to be very quickly trying to grab the cat before it gets the fish. So you're going to trace that, write it on house 4. Now these two papers right here, these two papers are the same paper, but they're 2 different papers because you would have had them on 2 different days. So you do not have to do the back of these papers, but I do want you to practice the front because you're going to practice writing by 5s all the way to 100, and then you're practicing writing by 10 all the way to 100. Same thing on this page. Practice writing by 5s all the way to 100, and practice writing by 10s all the way to 100. Now you do not have to write on the back, but I do want you to practice that front, okay? Don't forget to practice very neatly. I want those numbers touching the ceiling and the red carpet. If it has a big belly, like my favorite number to write, number 5, make sure that belly is touching that dotted line, okay? Okay, so that is for your handwriting. Now I want you to go ahead and get out your phonics, and we're gonna review your phonics, okay? Okay, this is what your phonics looks like today. Now, again, these are seat work papers. So these are papers that you would have done in your seat work. We're just gonna go over them a little bit more than what you would have done in seat work. So let's look at your first one, the one with a hen on here, page 191 right here. So number 1 says, write the word that best completes each sentence. There's writing words, make sure you write the word. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 words here, and 1, 2, 3, 4 sentences. So if you need to mark the special sounds and the vowels to be able to read it, you can, but you don't have to. It's not in the directions that you have to do that, but if you need to, go ahead and do that. Okay, let's go ahead and turn that over to the back and see what you have on the back of that paper. Okay, on the back of your paper, this is a lot like what we practiced when we do our practice for our big test. They give you one picture, and then you have to fill in the circle under the word that goes with that picture. So your direction says to fill in the circle under one word in each row that tells about the picture. Now I see a lot of special sounds in here, so if you need to circle them to be able to read the word, please do that, okay? You don't have to, but if you need to, you can do that. It's okay. So let's look at your first picture. Truck, truck. Swimming boy. There's 1, 2, 3. And then look at their face. Right here is a picture of a plane in some clouds. And then we've seen this one before. This is that boy who's washing his dog, right? So think about what's going on in the picture. Remember when we practiced these, we talked about what's going on, when is it, who is it, what do they look like? So think about those who, what, where, whens, hows, all of those when we're talking about those pictures to see which one goes with it. Let's look at this paper right here. This is another seat work paper. This paper on number 1 says mark the vowels. It does not say anything whatsoever about marking special sounds, but I do see one special sound right there. So if you need to mark that special sound, that's a good idea because you're actually supposed to mark special sounds before you mark vowels, right? That's what we've learned. So if you want to circle it, go ahead and do that, but mark those special sounds. Mark the vowels rather. And then on number 2, it says to fill in the circle under the letter that completes the word. So I see a lot of special sounds in here. St, tur, fur, der, burr. So there are some special sounds. So think about what that special sound says. Now I do see some of these are going to be 2 vowels. Some of them are only 1 vowel. So like this one right here, this one right here, it's only 1 vowel. So it looks like all of the others are 2 vowels. Remember, when there's 2 vowels in a word, that first vowel will say its long sound. That means it says its own letter, right? So be careful that they don't trick you on those. Now down here on number 3, it says to match the pictures that have the same special sound. So let's look at it. Thumb, shoe. Look where that arrow is pointing. It's pointing to his chin. Bread. Then down here, church. 30. Bridge. Ship. So what does it mean to match? Hey, let me see. Landry, what does it mean to match? If you're going to match something, what does that mean, Landry? If you said that it means to draw lines, kiss your brain or your hat, whatever you have on. Because that's right. You're supposed to draw lines from one picture to the other picture that has the same special sound. Okay? Okay, let's flip that over on the back and see what you got. Okay, this is what it looks like on the back. This is actually a pretty fun page. Number 4 says to read each sentence and do what it says. We've done this before when we had a picture with a train on it. This one is different. This one has a picture of a truck. So I'm going to read the first part and I'll read letter A and then you have to do the rest. Okay, so it says this is a truck. A, make tires on the truck. So you would come down here and finish making the tires right here on the truck. And then you're going to have to read B, C, D, E, and F to find out what else your picture needs to look like, because I see some things that are missing. It's also going to tell you how to color. So this is the part that I do want you to color. I'm not usually worried about your coloring, but this part, I do want you to color this part, okay? Because it has some things in the directions that tell you what to do to finish out your picture. But it is a fun page. Let's look at your last one for today. This is the last paper for today. This is a fun page. If you look at it, we have done one like this before. We did a puppy dog, but today is not a puppy dog. This is a pig. So today you're going to get to make your own pig. So think about real life colors for a pig, okay? So real life colors for a pig. Pink. How about white with black spots? Yeah. How about the color of my cap? Or maybe this awesome hair that I have? Yes. Okay, so think about real life colors that you could color your pig. So you're going to color it first, and then you're going to look at the directions to figure out how to fold it. Okay, and don't forget to cut off that black line because you don't need that part on there. But when you have it done, I would love to see it. So you can either have Mama take a picture of it and send it to me, or you can just show it to me on our Zoom meeting, okay? But I would really love to see it. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and get ready for reading groups. And I'm gonna keep my hat on, so you get to keep your hat on too. So go ahead and pull out your reader, your blue reader, and we're gonna go ahead and get started on that. I'll see you in just a little bit. Okay, you should have your blue reader out. Go ahead and open up to page 6. We stopped on page 6. Now remember that this is Wednesday and Thursday's reading group, okay? So if you don't have the time to do it all today, that's okay. Pause it, do the rest of it tomorrow. You know how to read this stuff, but I'm gonna read it with you. And remember that we're doing all of the groups at one time. So if you're in a group that I normally read kind of fast with, I've got to slow it down, okay? But that's okay because we're learning how to read it together. So go ahead and open up to page 6 and we're gonna get started. Okay, page 6, let's look at the title first. I see a little boy who it looks like he is using his imagination to go a lot of different places, and that's really good that books get to do that for you. So if you're reading up on your AR books, that's awesome. You get to take a lot of adventures through books that you read, and you know how to read now. You just have to keep practicing, because the more you practice, the better you're going to get, right? Practice makes progress. Okay, let's look. Page 6. You should be on the one that looks like this right here. The big trip. Okay, so let's look. And if you notice, this isn't our trip, right? This is T-R-I-P. Our trip is T-R-I-P-P. So high trip, but this is a different kind of trip. This is like you're going somewhere. So let's look. Ready? Together. The big trip. I can ride on a train. I can fly in a plane. I can sail in a ship. I can take a big trip. Next page. I can greet those I meet with a wave and a smile as I go on my way, mile on mile. It is fun to roam and still stay at home. Here I am safe in a box by my bed. Okay, so he went on a train, he went on a plane, he went on a ship, but where was he really? Yeah, he was in a box at his house, right? He wasn't really on all of those things, but he read about it, and through his reading, he could go to all of those cool places and all of those awesome transportation things, right? Like the ship and the train. So he is actually just pretending to go there. So go ahead and turn to page 8. We're going to read the next story together. Page 8 says, I feel clean. Ready? Oh, and also you have a sight word. We've already done the sight word before. It's of. Remember, that's that one that the F has the V sound, of. Ready? Together. I feel clean. I like to take a bath. It is fun to play in the tub. I scrub with the soap on my cloth. I clean in this ear and that. Next page. My hair is so clean I can hear it squeak. Mom tells me to use lots of soap and to dry off well. I feel so clean. I hope I stay clean. Okay, now when he's talking about making sure that his hair is so clean that it squeaks, does hair really squeak? No, hair doesn't really squeak. It's just that that's something that people say is squeaky clean. So do you think that he's going to stay clean? After you take a bath, you're usually clean for a little while, huh? And then what happens? Yeah, you go play, and then you get dirty. And we've talked about how God wants us to stay clean, right? This is our temple, right? And he wants to take care of it. He wants us to take good care of it. And so we need to make sure that we're using plenty of soap and water, and that we use the rag, the cloth when we need to, and that we wash our hair, and that we stay clean. Even though I'm not seeing you at school, I still hope you're staying clean at home too. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn to the next page, and we're going to read the next part of it. So on page 10, it says, I like to read. And this is actually one of my favorite stories. So go ahead and open up and look on page 10. Okay, let's look at the title first. Ready? Together. I like to read. Notice how it was a little bit high because of the exclamation mark. I like to read of trucks and trains, of dogs and cats, of clocks and cranes. I like to read of ships at sea, of bugs that fly and land on me. The tales can be dreams, the tales can be real, of a flag to fly, I like to read. Okay, now if you notice at that very bottom part, all of the letters were big, right? They were all capital, and it's in a bold print, and it has an exclamation mark there. That's why I hollered it a little bit. I didn't scream, but my voice got louder, and it was excited. So this story goes along with our other story. When you are reading stories, they can take you places. You're pretending, you're using your imagination just like if you were in that story. So let's go ahead and turn to the next page. Page 12. Remember, this is 2 days of seat work. So page 12. We're going to read those words together. Ready? Together. Play, pray, tried, grasp. Grasp means you're holding on tight to something. Swim, that, Fred, fruit, drive, go, shine, 3, speak, cry, skate, stream. Who remembers what a stream is? Do you remember what a stream is? How about you, Micah? Do you remember what a stream is? It has that special sound in there. STR says stir, as in stream. If you said stream is that little body of water, kind of like a little creek, then you're right. Good job. Give yourself a big pat on the back, because that is what a stream is. Okay, let's look at the next one. Ready? Together. Past, trash, shuts, teeth, dive, glad, grass, splash, smash, chad, squeak, stay, twig, scream, float, blue. Good job. Okay, let's look on page 13. We're gonna read My Goat. And this one looks like it's gonna be a lot nicer than the other goat that was in the pen. So let's look on page 13. Ready? Together. My goat. Goats like to eat grass. I am glad I am not a goat. It is fun to play. It is fun to play with my goat. He likes to jump off rocks. Dad shuts him up in a pen. That way he will not go past the gate. Okay, so this one is a lot nicer. He still has to go in a pen, but that's to keep him safe, right? So that he won't go past the gate. Now in this story, I just had a little bit of technology issues, so you might have a little skip in there, but that's okay. You can read it again. You know that you need to read these pages anyway to someone that you're at home with. Okay, we're gonna read the very last story together. This last story is on page 14 and 15. It's called Fred the Frog. Looks like this right here. So let's go ahead and read Fred the Frog, and then you will be done with this book, but we're still going to have to review this book. Okay, ready? Together. Fred the Frog. Fred the Frog sat on a big log. He was hot, but he had a wide grin. I will take a swim in the stream, he said. Okay, now if you look on your sight words, these are actually some of our Dolchus words. Was and said. And if you remember on that last line there where you see those little marks at the top of those words, those are quotation marks. And if you remember talking about this in reading group, this is where someone is saying something. So you know that it's something that's been said. So this was actually Fred the Frog saying this. Okay, let's look on the next page, page 15. Ready? Together. He made 3 big hops and 1 big splash. He tried a big dive, but just made a flop. That was fine with Fred. I can float. This is fun, he cried. I like to play in the stream. Okay, so how did Fred feel at the beginning of the story? Yeah, he was hot and he liked to go swimming, but where did he go swim in this story? In the stream, that's right. And remember that we talked about the stream. And so can Fred dive very well? Nah, he can't dive very well, but he does float very well. Okay, so for your homework, you're going to read pages 6 through 15. But remember, that's for homework for Wednesday and Thursday. And then the following week, we're going to review those papers. Okay, we're going to review those stories in there. So if you have any questions, have mom or dad call me, email me, text me, however you need to, because I am here to serve you. Okay, I am still your teacher, and I still love you more than the stars and moon in the sky. And I'm here to help you. So if you have any questions, let me know. And I hope you have enjoyed our hat day today. And don't forget, on Friday, I want you to go find some things in your yard or around your house that God made, because that is actually our field trip day. Also, I want you to have a fantastic spring break. On spring break, I don't want you to do any kind of work. I want you to enjoy your time off. I want you to be praying and to be thinking about what it means for Easter. I want you to think about what Good Friday means. I want you to think about what it means on Easter Sunday and how Jesus rose from the dead. And I hope that you are all talking about that with your families. I cannot wait to hear all about your Easter and what you did. I love you, and I'll see you later.